Today in this video, we're going to go through the must-know Zoom features for your Outschool classes. I really wish I had one of these videos when I was starting out because my first few classes weren't that great. They didn't run as smoothly as they could have, and I know that came down to the fact that being a participant in a Zoom meeting is very different to actually hosting one. So to make your classes run more smoothly than mine did, I'm going to show you all my tips that you're going to need for Zoom before your class starts, and then the really important features you're going to use during your lessons as well. Hi everyone, my name is Rachelle and I'm a six-figure online teacher from Australia. I tripled my 9-to-5 engineering designer salary by teaching on Outschool, and through this channel I'm going to teach you how you can do the same. If you are new here, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button to get a notification for every time I post a new video. Make sure you check out Instagram where I share daily tips and tricks and the behind the scenes of running an online business. Now, there's really no point of running a video of explaining how to use Zoom for you without actually being in Zoom. So today we're going to go through the rest of the video through my Zoom so that I can show you exactly what you should be looking at for those must-have features for using Zoom in your Outschool classes. Along with this video today is a freebie down in the description below with my Zoom checklist that you can check out for all of your classes to make sure that you are following the steps that work for you in setting up Zoom properly for your classes. So let's look at the Zoom settings that you can preset before you start your classes. Now, of course, this is what your screen looks like once you're in Zoom, but before you're in Zoom, it's going to look more like this, and you're going to click onto the settings. So the settings is a little wheel on the top right-hand side there, and this is going to bring up all of your Zoom settings for you. So there are a few things that I look at in here when setting up my Zoom when I first started, and I would first head down to video. So this is all of your settings for your camera. Now, if you're using the built-in camera like I am, you're going to select built-in. Of course, if you're using a separate external camera, make sure you come through your settings and select that as well. There's three areas I would look in here for setting up your Zoom settings, and that's going to be your light, your joining video, as well as participants' names. So if we have a look at adjusting for low light, you've got two options here. You can touch up appearance, and down here it says adjust for low lighting. Now I have set mine to manual because I have lights that I use, but you can set it to auto, and that means that regardless of what lighting you've got, Zoom's going to select the best range for the adjusted lighting inside of Zoom. But of course you can go manual and you can actually adjust it yourself. You can make it super bright, or you can turn it down depending on how bright your lighting is that you have for your classroom setup. So the great thing about this feature is that you don't really have to have top of the line lighting for your classes. You are actually able to adjust that lighting setting. And then the other two things in this section you're going to want to look at is this one here that says always display participants' name on their videos. I had an issue when I first started that all my learners were coming in, it was great, and I couldn't tell who was who because none of their names were showing up on their videos. And I checked my settings and it turns out this was ticked off. For some reason, I feel like this should be a feature that's always on. So make sure you do check your settings to check if that's turned on or off, because this is going to stop you from being able to see your learners' names. And of course you want to see them, so make sure it's turned on. And then I always have stop my video when joining a meeting. When you open Zoom for Outschool classes, it starts recording straight away. So you really want to make sure that you have the stop my video when joining a meeting button turned on. This means that when you join a meeting, it looks a bit more like this. It's going to be a black screen, the initial, something like that, maybe even your name. So that way you can start the video when you're ready. You can adjust your hair, fix your glasses, adjust your top, whatever you need to do, sneeze, and it's not going to be in the recording. Next area I would look at would be audio. Now, it's really important if you are using Zoom for the first time that you test your microphone and your speakers. Another thing that Zoom has that I love, which is great if you don't have noise cancelling headphones that also suppress the microphone noise that comes through, is suppress background noise. I have mine set to high so that it is going to hopefully block out any background noise. So like it says, if you're typing, dogs barking, cars going past your window, which does happen to me a lot during my classes, this feature gets rid of those background noises for you, and it makes it easier for your learners to be able to hear you. And then if we scroll down a little bit further, along with turning my camera off before I start a class, I always have mute my mic when joining a meeting. But if you're logged in a little bit early, you can have that muted, and when you open the class, you'll have no video and no audio, but it means that you can finish off those few little things before you get your lesson started. And the last section I use in the settings, those must-have features for your Outschool classes, is going to be under background and filters. The one thing I wanted to show you in this section is down here it says mirror my video. And what that's going to do is it's going to mirror your video. So if you have text in your background and you notice that it's backwards all of a sudden and you're trying to figure out how to fix it, come to this background and filters section of your settings and just test out if mirroring your video is what's wrong. So we've looked at a few of those must-have Zoom features for your Outschool classes that you can set up before your lessons begin. Are there Zoom features from those settings that you like to use in your classes that I haven't mentioned yet? Add them below and let us know what they are. Let's have a look at some of those features that you can use during a lesson. Now, when you start Zoom for Outschool, all your participants are going to be in a waiting room. Now, if you look at my screen there is no waiting room or anything. If you open your Zoom up and it looks like this, it's really easy to fix. All you're going to do is come down to this section that says participants, and it's going to open up all the participants you have in your classroom. If you have people in the waiting room, there will be a section here that comes up that says waiting room, and you can admit them to your lesson. So if you come down to the very bottom here where it says more, and there'll be a section that says play, join, and leave sound. So if you tick that on, whenever anyone enters the waiting room, it's going to make a ding noise for you so that you know that they're there waiting for you. One other thing I like to do in this more section is turn off renaming. Now, at the moment, you can see rename is ticked, which means your learners are going to be able to rename themselves. I've had a few classes where people have gone and chosen whatever name they wanted. If you untick rename, it'll stop the participants, all of those learners, being able to rename themselves, and it is a must-use Zoom feature I think you should be using for your Outschool classes. So not only are we able to see all our participants, Zoom has a chat box. Now learners can talk to each other through the chat. And if you come down the bottom, right here, there's one that says chat. It's going to open it up on the side for you. Now, you get to make the decision of, do you want your learners to be able to chat with each other, or only you, or nobody at all? On the three dots on the bottom right-hand side, you can select who the participant can chat with. So no one at all, which stops chat from working. Host and co-host, which means they can send as many messages as they want, and they're only going to you. They can chat with everyone as well. All right, let's look at the last few must-know Zoom features for your Outschool classes. You may have siblings enter your class and they may be using one device. So you might need to go through and change some of the students' names so that you know that there's two learners on that screen and you know exactly who's who. So what you can do is at the participant's name, when they show up on the right here, you can click more and you can rename. Now you can rename them to anything that you want. So I'm going to change mine. So now it says Rachelle and Levi. Hopefully they both stay in the same spot, but what I like to do is participant on the left, I put their name first, and then participant on the right, I put their name second, and that way the names kind of show up underneath the learners in that camera, and it can make it really easy to try and remember siblings' names during those lessons that you have. Being able to draw on the screen is a really cool feature that you can use in your Outschool classes. But sometimes it can be pretty annoying if your learners are all drawing over the top of each other. So maybe you want to be able to draw on the screen, but you don't want anyone else to. So at the moment I'm drawing all over the screen, but all of a sudden Levi's gone and drawn all over the screen as well. What you're going to do is come up to this section at the top here, again, where it says more, and you can go to a section that says disable annotation for others. What this means is that no one else is going to be able to draw on the screen except the host. And if at any time you want your learners to be able to draw on the screen again, just come back here and click enable annotation for others. And this means that everyone is going to be able to draw on the screen together. Then the final thing we're going to look at is screen sharing. Now, if you want other learners to be able to share your screen, you actually need to enable this for every lesson you do. So I like to go to the advanced sharing options, and then we've got a section for one participant can share at a time and who can share. So now it's only set to host, which means only I can share, but you can change it to all participants, which means everyone in the class is going to be able to share their screen. The way to stop everyone from sharing at the exact same time is to keep it on one participant can share at a time. These are my must-know Zoom features for your Outschool classes. I hope you can take these, incorporate them into your lessons. You'll be able to see your classes run a little more streamlined than mine did when I started. Don't forget, check out that freebie for the Zoom checklist down in the description below, and add in the comments if there's any features that I didn't mention today that you find really useful in Zoom as well. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell if this video helped you out today, and you'll get notified of all my future videos, with our next video coming out going to be about my top 5 uses for Canva in your Outschool classes. And trust me, there is a lot more features than just creating a cover image. I hope you found this video helpful, and I can't wait to see you all next Monday.